Hey there everybody, it's Mark Curley back with another How to Draw video. Last time I did a video I had so much time-lapse in it, people were like, Curley, what's with all the time-lapse? And yes, once again it was time for the pitchforks and the torches, and I was getting kind of nervous. So, this time I'm going to try to do all real-time lesson on how to draw a chibi with a very shocked, surprised look on her face. Beginning with a kind of a loose circle shape, just comes to a little bit of a point at the bottom. That's going to be where the chin is going to go. And not worrying too much about the lines being perfect at this stage. These are just sort of the initial guidelines. But I'm going to make a line right in the middle of this face here that's dividing the top and the bottom. And then between here and here, I'm dividing this into thirds. And if you want to, not absolutely necessary, but if you want to, you can get a sort of a vertical line here in the middle to divide that space roughly in half. I think she's kind of tilting her head a little bit to the side here. But I'm going to begin by drawing the eyes. Now, there are lots of different ways of drawing chibi characters and different ways of drawing the surprised face. You can go for, like, totally, having cardiac arrest, jaw hitting the ground, that kind of surprise. I'm not going for that level of super shock, just kind of a cute little, oh my goodness, kind of look on her face. And that involves the two dots for the eyes, these eyebrows that rest right along that first dividing line that we made, and then finally down here, a little cute mouth that's wide open down toward the point of the chin. And that is pretty much it. We skip the nose. There's no drawing of a nose in this version, and most chibi drawings I see don't have any kind of a nose. I'm going to go ahead and put ears here and move on into the hair. This is the point of almost every video where I say, this is not really a video so much about drawing hair. I'm just doing a video about the face, and the hair will be for another video. I've said it about 1,000,000 times now, and everyone's like, yeah, Mark, we know the drill. We get the basic idea. You don't need to say it anymore. But basically, if I go line by line on the hair, it just takes up so much time in the video. I'm going to give her some cute little pigtails here, just to sort of finish off the hairstyle. Main thing here is to make sure that they're at similar, points, coming off of the head in similar places. And maybe just a little bit of a blushy action going on here. And we will be pretty much done with that part of the drawing. I want to have her hands coming right up here against her cheeks, sort of classic, oh no, kind of look on her face. And I'm putting the indications of her forearms right down, just maybe a little bit of an angle, tilting off to the side, but pretty close to where her torso is going to be. Speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and do that right here. In my style of drawing this character, it's really ends up looking just like a kind of a square right here, really. We'll eventually get into the details of the clothing, but for now, let's just go ahead and do a triangular-ish, great vocabulary word, triangular-ish shape for her skirt. It's like I'm the guy who teaches you how to draw but does not teach you how to talk. Don't learn any words from me, people, or you'll be in trouble. This style of drawing the feet that I'm going to do is maybe a little reminiscent of the old, what were those things called? Powerpuff. Do you remember the Powerpuff Girls? They would draw the feet in such a way that they just connected right into the legs. And it's kind of weird, but it just sort of works, I think, sometimes in the chibi style, that you don't really separate between the feet and the rest of the legs. Sometimes, it depends on your preferences. You could go ahead and draw more of a break between the leg and the feet if you want to. But now I'm going to move on to more of the details. Just a line across here that's going to be like the socks, I guess, coming up to the knee. And then get some lines here that are the pleats of the sailor suit type skirt that you see so often in Japanese high schools, this sort of sailor suit uniform. This also is part of that, this sort of collar up here, and then I always like to get just a bit of a ribbon that comes down below that, maybe put some lines for the cuffs, and we are pretty much done. She's like, what? I'm going to put a couple of, I call them sort of emphasis lines. I don't know exactly what the proper terminology is for these lines that come off of the face. You see them in American comics too a lot, just sort of calling attention to this moment of heightened emotion. And just to make it fun, I'm also going to add a little bit of Japanese here. I'm going to have her saying the Japanese word are, which is a little hard to translate. It really is just the basic Japanese word for that. So you might be, what, she's saying the word that? But in this case, it just has the meaning of, huh? I think maybe it's the best way of explaining that, which is to say there is no good way of explaining that, if that's the best way I can do it. But these two little hiragana here come together to make the word are. And now I'll just wait for all of the commenter people who are experts in Japanese to say, well, you got the line on the re a little bit wrong, and I'm sorry, guys, I'm no expert when it comes to the hiragana, but I'm going to go ahead and switch, trying to keep this all real time. I'm going to switch to my trusty black Prismacolor and try to do some final lines here that go, right on top of those first original lines. I try, whenever possible, to do each line with a single stroke of the pencil rather than going back over and over again. I try to keep it light, try to keep the pencil really moving quickly. That creates a kind of liveliness in the lines where if you labor over a line and try to drag it very slowly across the page, that's when it tends to get wobbly or just a little lifeless. Again, I never like to put these things out there as you should always do this and always follow every rule that I say. I hate that kind of attitude in an art teacher. There's no always, right? If you like to draw slowly moving lines, go for it. But I'm just telling you what I see a lot of times in chibi drawings. I see a lightness of pen or pencil line. Notice that I did just a little indication of the fingers, almost as if she's wearing mittens or something. I rarely see someone giving a chibi character really like all 5 fingers, or I guess 4 fingers and the thumb. I almost never see that level of detail. A lot of times it's just like a simple circle. The whole chibi style is to really bring things down to the bare minimum of lines and not get carried away with details. Now I'm going to go down here. Here's one thing I like to do is to give the pleated skirt these like above and below kind of lines. And then as you go across and connect those like that, it has more of a pleated skirt kind of look to it. I don't know how effectively I've done that, but you kind of get the basic idea. And finally, to finish off these legs, come down here. Sometimes I make the legs a little too chubby, so I'm trying to make sure I don't overdo that. Line across near the knee. And I don't think I'm going to do too much in terms of details on the shoes. Well, I'll just shade those in. I'm switching back to my pencil for the final shading. But before I do that, I should erase some of those penciled guidelines. I'm doing this very lightly so as not to erase too much of my final line. I've heard from some people who have bought the black Prismacolor, and they're like, when I try to erase, and all of the black lines come up off the page, not like in your videos. And I'm sorry if that's the case. Hard for me to explain that. Maybe there are different brands of Prismacolor. I'm not really sure how that happens. But before I forget, I gotta do final lines on my are. When I was living in Japan, I once had someone correct me in my Japanese when I dropped something and I said, huh? And they said, not huh, you should say are, which is, I guess, standard Japanese for if you drop something on the floor. Little Japanese lesson for you today. But I'm going to go ahead and do my final shading, trying, as I said, to do this whole video without resorting to time-lapse. I feel like I don't know, it's like a challenge. I'm so used to saying, I'm going to kick it into time-lapse. This time, I do not have that crutch. I've just got to do it all real-time. And if the drawing suffers, then so be it. Anyway, I think it's good every once in a while to try to keep it without the time lapse. I think a lot of people, well, there's always a trade-off between doing the short videos with lots of time lapse and doing longer videos that are maybe, they could be more helpful for certain people, but then a lot of people just won't even watch them. I know most people who are serious about learning to draw were like, Mark, I'll watch your videos if they're half an hour long. But the truth is, here on YouTube, a lot of people, they see even, 15 minutes. They're like, I don't have time. I'll watch this other video that's shorter. And, sadly, I just have to be aware of that kind of thing. I want as many people to see the videos as possible. So going ahead and doing a final bit of shading here. I think we're almost reaching the end of this. Please continue to give me your suggestions and requests for different types of subject matter you want me to cover. Oh, one thing I want to make sure that I don't forget to say is that I'm going to link at the end of this video to a video over at Cartoon Block, Evan Burse's channel. He shot a video of me drawing my character Miki from Miki Falls, and it's right over there. It's almost like having a bonus extra video. I'm going to link to it at the end of this video, and you can get 2 Mark Crilley videos. And I think that one also is all real time, if I recall. So, but anyway, I want to do, as I always do, thank anyone who has bought my Brody's Ghost graphic novel series, hearing from lots of people who are seeing this at their local scholastic book fairs at their schools. Also, Miki Falls. Always appreciate anyone supporting me by getting any of my books or just watching my videos, telling other people about them, linking to them on Facebook and other places like that. But let's go ahead and wind this one down. I'm going to lay me, it sounds like I'm a pirate. I'm going to lay me pencil down. I'm going to lay my pencil down. I want to thank you all for watching this video. I hope you found it useful, and I'll be back with another one real soon.